The Zika virus is not new to the world. The first case of Zika was diagnosed in the Asian continent in the 1940s. The American region, however, is recently seeing an outbreak of the virus. 2 cases of Zika have been confirmed in Belize, one from Belize City and one from the Cayo district. Love News sat down with Dr. Javier Zuniga, the regional manager for the Central Health Region, and Javier Alpuche, the senior public health inspector at the Central Health Region. Javier Alpuche spoke about the diagnosed cases of Zika in Belize.
What happened is that what was recently reported in terms of the case here in Belize City and the case in the Cayo district, those are the first laboratory confirmed cases in Belize. Additionally, investigations have been done in terms of these last 2 cases, and we try to determine where is it that this person could have probably picked up the Zika virus. We look at travel history, for example. If a person does not have any travel history, then we might have to conclude that that person was infected locally. Then we start to talk about local transmission of Zika. Speaking specifically of the case detected here in Belize City, it points towards, yes, local transmission. I was not intimately involved in that investigation, but from what we have heard or what we have been told, that again appears to be local transmission. If we have cases already confirmed here in our country, in Belize City we're talking specifically, we have the Aedes mosquito, which is the vector. We will more than likely have cases.
Javier Alpuche spoke about the Zika plan that the Ministry of Health is implementing, stating that Belize has now moved into the response phase.
Already having an outbreak. Because Zika is new to Belize, 1 case is an outbreak. So therefore we are already in the outbreak. Right now we are in what to call the response phase of the plan. The response phase calls, of course, for the continued surveillance. As difficult as it is, as I explained, because of the person not developing signs and symptoms, we need to continue our surveillance. We need to capture more cases. We need to do more testing. Additionally, we also have the vector control activities that need to be conducted. But because Aedes mosquito is the same vector for dengue and chikungunya, basically what we'll be doing is just strengthening or enhancing what we had been doing. As a matter of fact, here in Belize City, again, trying to be proactive, we started doing even cleanup campaigns way back in late February, early March. We did a total of 5 cleanup campaigns, targeting those areas that we perceive to be at risk for Zika.
Dr. Javier Zuniga and Javier Alpuche both spoke about vaccine and development studies that are being conducted to develop treatments for Zika.
There's no treatment for Zika. There's no treatment needed for Zika. But there is plan, and I think it's undergoing already, the development of a vaccine for Zika. And they are presently in that process of testing that vaccine. So we probably have a vaccine by the end of this year.
Because Zika has been declared of a public health emergency and it's of such importance and is new to the region, all type of studies are being done. Studies that refers to vaccines, but even studies that refers to the control of the mosquito. I think Brazil was talking about releasing genetically modified mosquitoes for the control of the vector. How that will work, we would have to wait and see. And see what happens from there. But those are, like I said, things that are just being developed.
Dr. Zuniga stated that NGOs such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are contributing to the studies. One of the confirmed cases of Zika is in a pregnant woman, and it is dangerous because the fetus can develop microcephaly, a brain illness that affects his or her development. Because of the risk of the fetus developing microcephaly, pregnant women infected with Zika are closely monitored, as the current mother-to-be from Cotton Tree is. Dr. Javier Zuniga spoke about what the ministry is advising women in Belize in regards to pregnancies.
We have guidelines for Zika in pregnancy, and once we detect a pregnant mother, as I said before, we try to capture them as soon as possible. If they develop symptoms of Zika, then a Zika testing would be done to detect Zika. But what we want to do is to follow that mother throughout pregnancy, so prenatal care, to be able to monitor the development of the fetus itself within the womb, and also if the mother develops any illnesses during pregnancy as well.
The pregnant woman diagnosed with Zika is already in her 6th month of pregnancy. Dr. Zuniga explained how they monitored the baby for signs of microcephaly.
Okay, the critical time period for development of the brain is the first 8 to 10 weeks of gestation, which means of pregnancy, which means the first 2 months basically. That's when the organs and different structures in the body start to mature, develop and mature. So the brain at that time period is more critical. That's why we want to capture these mothers as soon as possible in the first trimester. After that, then the first ultrasound that is recommended during pregnancy would be at 15 to 17 weeks of gestation, and this would give us some measurements that could detect if there is some type of malformation in terms of the brain at that period. And then again, we repeat another ultrasound around 35, 37 weeks of gestation, so in the 3rd trimester. And this could further give us, tell us that yes, there is microcephaly or not. And then we prepare the mother, of course, if it is detected, if the fetus will be born with any type of microcephaly.
Some countries, such as Brazil, have issued advice that women desist from pregnancy for the next 3 years. We asked Dr. Zuniga if the Ministry of Health is issuing such advice to Belizean women.
We recommend not to get pregnant, but we cannot stop women from getting pregnant. And we'll always have cases where, women will get pregnant, and we will just have to try to get the information across that we want to detect these pregnancies as soon as possible. But in terms of women abstaining from or not getting pregnant, probably 18 months from now.
In the case diagnosed in Belize, Dr. Zuniga stated that from monitoring the fetus, they are seeing that there are low probabilities that the baby will be born with microcephaly. Now that Zika is a reality in Belize, the Central Health Region is emphasizing the more necessity to avoid any more cases through prevention. Javier Alpucha, Senior Public Health Inspector, says that action is imperative.
Done is very important, and this is what I find somewhat puzzling. When you speak to the public out there, they know about dengue. They know that the Aedes mosquito transmits dengue. But how do we get action? Because they also know where the Aedes mosquito breeds. And that's the action that we need to get from the public. We need to eliminate all of those potential breeding sites for the Aedes mosquitoes, which would require cleaning the yards, getting rid of whatever stuff you have in there that holds water. It is said that one simple soft drink cover, the plastic cover, is a potential breeding site because it can capture water and it can breed mosquitoes. So you need to get rid of whatever you have in your yard that is holding water that may potentially breed mosquitoes. Secondly, we need to protect ourselves as well, and this is a recommendation. If you look at our pamphlet, it says no get bite. Protect yourselves, especially for pregnant women, but for the general public. If you're outdoors early in the morning and late in the evening, preferably use repellent. Preferably use long sleeve blouse or short, long pants. Sleep under bed nets at night. This is how you can protect yourself from being bitten by the mosquitoes.
Dr. Javier Zuniga, Regional Manager at the Central Health Region, explained how a mass outbreak could affect Belize's economy and social life.
have a mass outbreak of Zika in Belize, it will be very costly. One, to try to control the spread of the virus itself, because of course all the chemicals that's needed needs to be purchased. And not only that, but then in the end, if we have a child that is not developed, that doesn't develop properly, cannot go to school, cannot be productive in society, then that entire lifespan of that child is lost of his level of productivity, and that affects the economy on a whole, the Belizean economy. So it is very detrimental and costly, both to the family, to the health system, because we'll have to be continuously provide health care for that child, and of course the country on a whole.
Alpucha stressed on the importance of the public to cooperate with the health authorities in ways they can help, like keeping their surroundings clean and allowing insecticides to be sprayed.